Okay, this is just a demonstration video of snap modes, or at least how they work in AutoCAD. Yeah, I know I'm using an old version of AutoCAD on Windows XP, but they discontinued allowing you to own an actual copy of AutoCAD, so this is what I have. I'm going to begin by going down here to the snap modes. I'm going to turn them on. We'll go to settings. You can see that, actually, yeah, here we go, object snap. These are all the different types of snap modes that you can do in AutoCAD, or at least this version of AutoCAD, which is 02. There's endpoints. That's going to work on line segments. That's going to work on arcs. That's going to work on basically anything with endpoints. Midpoint is going to be the midpoint on a line segment. Center down here, this applies to arcs and circles. Node, I'm not actually sure what node is. Quadrant is important. A circle will give you 4 quadrant points you can snap to, one at the top, one at the bottom, and one on each side. Intersection, where line segments overlap, and I believe that's also where circles and arcs overlap too. Extension, that's you can snap out beyond the end of a line. I don't use that one a whole lot. Insertion, I don't know that I've used that one. Perpendicular is good for if you have 2 lines that intersect. Tangent, of course, is very handy with circles. Nearest is not too terribly useful. That just kind of snaps you to a current line and keeps you running along it as you move the mouse. Parent intersection will be where 2 things would intersect, where 2 line segments would intersect if they were longer, and I don't really use parallel. So anyway, I'm gonna, and these are the symbols also that the cursor will turn into as you move over each type of intersection. So we're going to turn that on. I'm going to click grid. Now you can see that grid snap is on, so we're snapping to the grid. I'll begin by drawing a rectangle just to show you kind of how, and you'll see I can't move the mouse in between grid section, or in between grid squares. So I'm going to go to snap mode and I'll right click, and I'm going to go to settings, or actually I can just click the, let's right click, let's go to settings, and I'm going to turn object snap for grid. Maybe the grid's in something else. I haven't used this program in a while. Where is the grids? Okay, I guess it is just snap. Snap, if you right click, you can go to settings and get into object snap here quicker. Anyway, so let's show some of the snap modes. I'm going to begin by drawing a line. You'll see it snaps to intersect, or it snaps to endpoint right there. The square is the marker for the endpoint. Here we have midpoint turned on, so it's going to draw a midpoint. It'll snap to the midpoint. And I think that's pretty much it. For if I draw a line segment from corner to corner, you can see how it snaps. We never eyeball anything in drafting. I mean, so this is accurate. If we want to draw a circle, we can do that. We can inscribe it easily by Java update for Windows XP. That ought to be fun. You can snap to the middle here, and then you'll see the other snap options. It'll snap to the middle of this line segment here. You can snap to, of course, the corners. But I'll put that there. Let's see, what other snaps are there? Let me show some snaps for the circle itself. I'm not going to snap to anything while drawing this, but I want to show basically the quadrant snap. So there's a quadrant there, there's a quadrant there, there's one there, and there's one there. I think instead of 4, if I were to do my CAD program, I would probably have 8, just because sometimes 45-degree angles are useful. Or I suppose you could do something, like, I don't know, 12 or 16 would be nice too, because you could still have these 4 ones inclusive in that. Let's see if splines intersect. This ought to be interesting. Let's see if it's smart enough to calculate these intersections here. And I'm going to right click and hit enter. Okay. So let's see if it'll, wow, AutoCAD's good. I didn't realize it would do that, but it's also snapping to intersections between circles and splines, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see what arcs or ellipses do. I believe they want, and down here you can see this is kind of your text entry. If you want to do it that way, you can. But anyway, we have an ellipse. Let's see what we can snap to. Apparently ellipses have quadrants too. Okay, ellipse also... ellipses also have a center point. Let's try some of the arcs here. And I want to get to apparent intersection as well. This is where you want to slice it here. And I believe arcs have endpoints here. Yep, that square marks an endpoint. That's an endpoint. And they also offer a midpoint between those. So that's kind of interesting as a snap mode too. Now I'd like to do something about our show extensions too. I'm going to turn ortho on here so I draw straight lines. So we're going to put a line there. We'll enter that. Stop. Okay. And I'm going to put... ortho is still on, so I'm going to put a line here. I'm going to enter that. Now you'll see that if I push this here and this here, it will calculate the apparent intersection right here. So you can see that that's kind of useful if you're drawing something there, that you can snap to the apparent intersection as well. Of course, you know, you have, let me turn ortho off, and we'll enter. Of course, you also have the normal intersection of those shapes too. I was really surprised to see that AutoCAD actually is smart enough to calculate the spline and the circle. That's probably a little more complicated math, but those are some of the snap modes. Intersection, let me just draw a line here and we'll enter this. And I believe you can come off it. Yeah, see, it projects it out too. This is the extension snap, and I don't have anything to draw for that, but I'm trying to think if there's any other types of intersections we can test real quick. I'm going to right click O snap and we'll see. I don't know what insertion does. We've done perpendiculars the same as apparent in the example we did. Nearest I don't use. Parallel I don't use. Quadrant again is circles. I'm kind of interested what this insertion does. I wonder if that's... the symbol's kind of like this. Let's see if we can figure it out here. Oops. Extension, huh? Let's try this. Wonder if it calculates where this circle is. Trim, deep. And selecting. I wonder if it calculates or something. Oh, I don't have it turned on though, do I? So we'll right click. I don't know what this insertion does. I probably should read the instructions, but yeah. See, and it does calculate intersection. You can see it right there. It's kind of a useful thing. I don't know. So those are basically the snap modes. So these kind of deal with the object geometry itself, and then intersection is 2D objects kind of intersecting each other. They have some intersections that are kind of implicit, they're implied, and that's your perpendicular. Tangent, oh, let's do a tangent real quick. That's another really cool feature. So we have our two circles, and normally we'd be entering exact numbers in these. I'm going to draw a tangent line, and I got to turn my O-snap tangent on. You turn these off if you want to ignore specific things, and that way your cursor won't snap to them accidentally. So I'm going to turn off quadrant because I don't want it snapping to any quadrant of the circle while I do this. Actually, I'm going to turn it off. You can see right now how we have snapping to the center on. If I go to O snap and I turn center off, you can doggone it. Why is it still doing center? Is that bound to midpoint or what? Interesting. I'll turn that off. Anyway, we can do that one there and that one there. You can see it does tangents. I believe it'll go from this side to this side too. And that's kind of cool. Of course you can do this too. See, now it's not snapping to the center anymore, but if we go to O snap, object snap, go to center, now it will again, and we can mirror that over. So it's kind of neat. You know, then if you're making a cam or something, you can select those and then you trim these out. Now here's the cool thing, is because the set, even after you deform an arc or you cut a circle up, it still retains its center point, so you could make some sort of, you know, cam or something here. All kinds of stuff. So I think I'm going to end the video there. It's probably a little longer than I wanted, and I will save recording.